Hello everyone, welcome to another episode. On today's episode, we're going to do a walkthrough of TryHackMe's Hydra Lab. So, to get started, we're going to go ahead and go over the Hydra Introduction, which states, what is Hydra? Hydra is a brute force online password cracking program, a quick system login password hacking tool. We can use Hydra to run through a list and brute force some authentication service. Imagine trying to manually guess someone's password on a particular service, secure shell, web application form, etc. We can use Hydra to run through a password list and speed this process up, determining the correct password. So, if you don't use Hydra, or you don't use any tool at all, right, you'd have to guess user by user, password by password. And that just gets very burdensome, takes a lot of time, right? So we use tools like Burp Suite, Hydra, so on and so forth, to input usernames and passwords for us to speed things up, right? You don't want to, if you have to enumerate a machine, you want to get it over with as fast as possible, right? Unless you're having a lot of fun. So Hydra has the ability to brute force the following protocols. And it goes over a giant list. Some key ones is SSH, SNMP, SMTP, so on and so forth, right? If you want a little bit more information, go to ian.kali.tools. This shows the importance of using a strong password if your password is common, doesn't contain special characters, and or is not above 8 characters, it is going to be prone to being guessed. The new minimum is somewhere around 12 now. That's what they suggest. So 12 and plus is a lot harder to guess. Password lists are updated every single day. 100 million passwords list existing common passwords. So when an out-of-the-box application uses an easy password to log in, make sure to change it from the default. Often CCTV cameras and web frameworks use admin password as a default password, which is obviously not strong enough. So if you guys have like a Netgear router, any type of router really, and you go to the web console to actually go into change settings on that router or that modem, right? Usually the password is admin password, right? That's how insecure most devices that we have in our world are. So if you have an IT department or you have an HR department at your work, right? They might provide you with a password to your new account. That's something like password 123, your first and last name. Those kind of passwords aren't secure, right? So what you want to do is you want to make a password that's at least minimum 12 characters, uses special characters, capitals, lowercase, numbers, whatever you can to make it harder to guess, but easy enough for you to remember. We don't have to worry about installing Hydra. If you're running Kali or Parrot OS, it'll be pre-installed. And if you have a subscription with TryHackMe, you could just boot up a virtual machine through them. So once you're done, go ahead and click push and done. And then we're going to go ahead and open up part 2. You're going to go ahead and click deploy. Just make sure your machine gets booted up. It takes a few minutes. And we're going to just go ahead and review this as our machine boots up. So what this says to us is deploy the machine attached to this task, then navigate to the machine's IP. So once that comes up, we'll do that. Hydra commands. The option we pass into Hydra depends on which service protocol we're attacking. For example, if we wanted to brute force file transfer protocol, with the username being user and a password list being password list, we use the following command: hydra-l user-p passlist.txt ftp and then the machine's IP. For the purpose of this deployed machine, here are the commands to use Hydra on secure shell and a web form post method. So the machine that they provided us is just going to be a simple web form, and then they also had secure shell in the back for us just to play with. So there's 2 commands we're going to be going over. One's going to be the secure shell right here, and then the post web form down here. So let's just go over the syntax just to get you guys a little bit more familiar with this. So secure shell, Hydra-l will take the username. So the lowercase options take static text or a single value, and the capital versions take a word list, right? So if you wanted to use a username list, it would be capital L and then the path to that list. So as you can tell right here with -p, it wants the full path to the pass because it's using a list. If it was just using one single password, such as admin or password, it would just state that right next to here with a lowercase p. And then it's going to be followed by our IP of our machine, how many threads we're going to use, and what protocol we're going to be using. As of now, the base thread count that Hydra uses for secure shell is 16, so I would recommend removing the /t4, otherwise it's going to take a little bit longer. So just to review the options, -l is for the username, -p is for a list of passwords, and -t is for the number of threads to use. So for the Actually, let's go ahead and go over, we'll just use this real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy that and we'll paste it in our terminal. As you can tell at the very top, there's our IP address. They were so kind to autofill that for us in the syntax. We're going to go to our path, which will be user share word lists. For me, it's going to be passlist.txt. What I recommend is that you download seclists, top 100,000, put it in your word list file as passlist.txt, because you'll use that for everything here. And then username, in this case, since we know at the very bottom, if you read the questions, it says use Hydra to brute force Molly's web password, use Hydra to brute force Molly's SSH password. So we know that Molly is the username. So what we can do is we can actually just replace this with Molly. And so, like I said, take out the thread count. Let's just let it do 16. It's a lot faster. So Hydra-L for single value, which is going to be Molly, -P for our password list, which is user share word list passlist.txt, our IP, and the protocol. After 10 seconds, it'll begin. Once it begins, it'll take a few minutes. I've done this lab before, so I know exactly where the value is it'll find in our list. And it takes about 5 to 6 minutes if you are using the seclist that I recommended. So look up seclists on GitHub. You'll be able to find the content very easily through them. And then I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, and as you can tell, after quite a while, we got our password. So we can tell that our login for Secure Shell is Molly, and our password is going to be Butterfly. So we'll go ahead and go over to another terminal. You will do SSH Molly at 10.10.189.38. Yes, and Butterfly will be our password. So now that we're in, we'll go ahead and list everything out. We can tell that flag 2 is there. We can cat flag 2. And we have our second flag, which should be the first one you get though. We go ahead and copy that. We'll bring it all the way down here, put it right there. And then we'll move to our next one. So we just got done doing Secure Shell, so we'll now move on to posting web form. So we'll copy our IP, we'll put it into another tab. And in here, we're gonna view what we have, right? So we have our login, looks pretty normal except for the really cool image. We'll go ahead and inspect elements, okay, just see what we got. So straight off what we can tell is that we have a form here and that it has the action of posting, right? So method is to post and then the action is /login. So if we go back to our syntax, we have Hydra-L, username -P, word list, our IP, HTTP, post form. That slash should technically say /login and then colon username, since we're doing /login. And then the rest is correct. So post web form. We can use Hydra to brute force web forms too. You will have to make sure you know which type of request is making. A GET or POST methods are normally used. You can use your browser's network tab in Developer Tools to see the request types or simply view the source code. So if you, whatever reason you're having issue with using that within, Google Chrome or Firefox, you can also use Burp Suite to see what's happening as well, such as the parameters, what it's sending, what it's receiving, if it's post or get, whatever you need. Below is an example of the Hydra command to brute force a post logon form. We just went over that, but we'll go over the options in more detail. So option and description, -L is for a single username, -P is for a password list. The HTTP post form indicates the type of form. If it was GET, it would say GET, but since it's post, it says post. The login URL, so as I said right here, that's that portion right there. For our case, it'll be /login, not just /. The username, so whatever field, whatever the name of the field is, you need to put that there, right? So it might just say USR. It might say USR 1, 2, 3, whatever they have, make sure you put in that correct field name. And then user and pass right here, they're marked with a caret. That's what's going to be filled with whatever your single value or your password list values are. Password, the form field where your password is entered, same case as the username field. Should put the form field name. Login, we don't have that set in here. We do have f equals incorrect set. So if anything pops up on the page that states that is incorrect, it'll count it as a failed attempt. And then -v for verbose mode, right? So it just prints out what it's doing for you. And then it says you should have enough information to put this practice and brute force your self-credentials to the deployed machine. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy the syntax, clear our screen over here, paste that syntax. Like we went over before, we know that the username should probably be Molly. So clear that and put Molly. Our word list will be our /user share word list and then pass list. Our IP is correct. We are posting that form. It's /login, not just slash. And everything else is correct. So we're gonna go ahead and press enter. We'll wait that 10 seconds. And it should be fairly quick. In our case, if you are doing a different lab where you're using this, it'll probably take a bit longer. Just remember to use lists that are appropriate for the time you have. So there we go. It was that fast. So as you can tell, our IP, login, Molly, password, Sunshine. So we'll go ahead and go over here, type in Molly as our username, and Sunshine as our password. And here's our next flag. Go ahead, copy that, come back down, put it up here, click submit, and then submit on the other one, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another episode.